everyone, welcome to Thursdays at 3. It's your host, Jason Crespin, here at the Amarillo Little Theater. Hopefully you all are all having an absolutely fantastic day. It's, of course, November 17th, just a week away from good old Thanksgiving. Hopefully you guys are all having a great week, have stayed warm this week. Of course, our weather has been quite chilly. Apparently tomorrow is supposed to be very. Maybe we should have on Thursdays at 3 a weather segment where I cut to Lissa in the box office giving us our weather. We'll see. We'll see. Maybe with the new new year we can expand our Thursdays at 3 budget to host a weather girl, or weather person. We don't have to label weather. The weather person can be whatever weather person they want to be. Anyway, I hope you guys are all having a great week. We've been, of course, we've been busy at the theater. Earlier, I was like, what show am I talking about? Where am I supposed to be right now? I don't even know. Of course, we want to first congratulate and thank. We had 43 amazingly talented people who auditioned for Clue. All of them were absolutely fantastic. Of course, the Clue cast list went out today at noon. It's a great group. Gosh, we could have cast the show 3-4 different ways, and it would have been phenomenal. So, congrats to the cast that is going to be portraying that show in January, and to everyone else, thank you so much who auditioned. And then, of course, we have Elf the musical coming around the corner right now. We've been working hard. Our season ticket holders were able to get tickets this week. We want to remind you, of course, for Elf, if you are looking at getting tickets, the general public can begin purchasing their tickets this coming Monday, the 21st at 10 a.m. And if you are not a season ticket holder and you're like, I want to be a season ticket holder, I want to get my tickets now, you can purchase your season tickets, call the box office, visit our website. You can do all of that now. And speaking about Elf, we have a couple of needs for Elf still. Let me look at my little sheet here. One, we have a work call. Really, we actually have some people volunteering right now on our set tomorrow during the day, all day. Tana and Greg are working on our set right now. Part of our tech team is out sick, and so we're trying to play catch up, if you will, a little bit. So if you have time tomorrow during the day, come on by the theater. We'd love to have you and put you to work. But we will have a big work call this coming Saturday. Some more painting, a little bit of building, a lot of detail work. We got to get this show ready to go. Also, if you're thinking, man, I wish I would have auditioned for Elf, or I wish I could be a part of the magic of theater, we still are looking for one more kind of adult volunteer to help with our running crew for that show. So if you're interested in that, if you think, man, I got some time, I could definitely help out, or lend some time during work call, let our volunteer coordinator know. They're listed at amarillo-littletheater.org, or just give us a call, 806-355-9991. We are also, Tana, we have this moment where we are, it's not giving anything away. There's a moment where it's kind of in Central Park. Tana, our amazing set designer, has come up with a way to build these kind of trees to look like we're kind of in somewhat of Central Park. But what she is needing right now is trees. Now you might be thinking, oh, I have an extra Christmas tree I can lend the theater. Yes and no, that is kind of what we're looking for, but it's kind of what we're not. One is basically if you have an old tree that you do not want anymore, but what we're looking for is those trees that the branches would go in. Do you know what I'm talking about? Like where the branches would clip into the little thing and go into the stand, not the ones that are pre-done, all that good stuff. Because we're just going to use those little branch parts that clip in. We're going to use those things to create Central Park magic. So if you're like, I have an old tree like that and I don't want it, somebody take it away. We're looking for about 3-ish of those trees. Again, contact our amazing volunteer coordinator, Lissa. Just email her, call the box office, and say, I have a tree that I don't want anymore that's just like that. And we will gladly put it to use. You probably won't get it back. I'm just gonna let you know now. So if this is like your family heirloom tree that's been passed on from generation to generation, one, that's really cool. My family, we did not pass on a tree from generation to generation. I have a funny story. I don't know if I can. I don't want to get my dad in trouble. Let's just say there's one time that we definitely, as a child, cut down a Christmas tree, potentially from a national park that we were not supposed to cut down from. That's all I can say right now. I don't want to get my dad in trouble. 30 years later, but just saying. Looking back at my childhood history of Christmas trees, probably was a felony in some capacity, but it's fine. It's fine. We had a great Christmas. It was good. That's where I learned how to act, because I'm pretty sure my dad was like, if we get pulled over, say we got this from our property that was not where we got it from. But anyway, my family. Thanksgiving's gonna be fun this year when my dad's like, why did you tell the story about that Christmas tree? Anyway, moving on. Oh, Christopher, hello, my friend. Oh, I hope everything's going well in California, and I hope your Christmas shop is going well. One of these years I will go out there and be able to see that. Hope all is well in Texas. Thank you, my friend. I hope all is well with you in good old California as well. But anyway, if you're looking to get rid of a tree that we can use, let us know. It would be great. And then last two things before we get to really why you're watching, because I know it's not because of this mug. You're looking for 3 other mugs that look a whole lot better than this one. We're talking about Coffee Memorial. ALT is partnering with Coffee Memorial. We're doing a blood drive. That's right, a blood drive. That'll be on Wednesday, November 23rd. This is this coming Wednesday, before Thanksgiving. It'll be it's sponsored with AAA Electric. It'll be in our Turk lobby at the ALT main stage. You can make an appointment. You can call that number there, 331-8833, or you can visit that website there. I am not great with blood or needles. I do not have a tattoo. I will pass out. I'm very nervous about this. I will be there to help support and show people where to stand and all of the good stuff. I'll bring juice. I'll bring whatever is needed, but it just makes me a little nervous. However, if you do donate blood, looky there, you will get a 9-inch pecan pie. That's right. Last minute pecan pie to take to Thanksgiving the next day. Get it while donating blood. You'll get a movie pass. You'll get a choice of one of those shirts there. And then they're doing this whole like chocolate factory thing where they give you a chocolate bar. And if you have a golden ticket, you might win $250 Visa gift card. Listen, there was a moment where I was like, how bad do I really pass out when it comes to blood and needles? Because that's extra $250 for the holidays is kind of nice. I don't even like chocolate. So it would just literally be doing it for the greedy aspect of the $250, sadly. But I don't do well. I get a paper cut and I get woozy. So probably no giving blood for me, but I will support everyone who does it. And hopefully you will come and help us out. And then finally, of course, we're talking about our academy, our fantastic ALT Academy. Pre-registration, y'all. Pre-registration for spring classes starts November 28th. Just want to remind you about that. Mark that on your calendars. Then looking ahead, December 5th is when regular spring registration happens. You'll get a ton of information in your classes about that. Just want to point that out to you just because it's around the corner. Okay, my friends, I think that is all I was supposed to tell you. I have so many sticky notes on my desk right now. I wouldn't show you because you would also see how messy my desk is. It's all good. Let's get to why you're here. Again, y'all, if you have not seen the amazing, the brilliant, the fantastic, the laughing, the comedic show that this is, but also the insightful and just fantastic show that is CLYBOURNE Park. We're entering our second weekend of performances. We have 3 of the amazing, talented, phenomenally gifted people that are a part of the show. Let's bring them on. Lily, Zach, and Brandon. What up? Y'all doing well?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Zach, I think you muted yourself. And yeah.
I know. I haven't had to touch Zoom since I taught, so it's been a minute.
I know, right? It's crazy to think about. This is how we functioned for 2 years almost. It's like, what? Oh yeah, this is how it works again. Completely agreed. See, sorry, real quick. I'm having a little. Oh, my friend David Katz up in the eastern coastline. I miss you too, Mr. David. I hope you're doing well. Hope Thanksgiving goes well for you, David. Wish you guys could see the show because y'all, CLYBOURNE Park, you guys are so good. It's such a good show. In fact, I was just at United buying some maple syrup for a certain Buddy the Elf in our show as a prop. And I got stopped twice by very amazing patrons of our theater. And they were like, the show is so good. We loved the show. We saw it, blah, 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 blah. And anyway, it just feels so good walking around the city when we have a good show and you were like, yeah, I work at ALT and we got CLYBOURNE Park running. Okay, sorry. First off, Lily, Zach, Brandon, how are y'all doing? You doing good?
Yes, doing great.
Great.
Good. You guys all look fantastic. You guys are all I hopefully have received a little bit of rest this week. I know you guys, going into Tech Week and all the extra rehearsals, hopefully you were able to kind of recharge your battery a little bit and get some sleep and rest.
Oh, yeah.
Lily's like, yes. Lily's classes got canceled this morning, and she got to sleep in. So, woohoo! I love it.
I was the lucky one.
Lily, remind us who are you when you're not at ALT? Who are you?
I am going to college for I just switched it to make health studies to go into speech pathology / therapy.
Ooh.
So that's what I'm on track for.
Very nice, very nice. Those of you who may not know,
so
the what? What the?
I like to cuddle with my cats on my free time. So,
how many cats do you have?
4.
Whoa, 4 cats.
And we have one dog. He's spoiled, but he hates our cats still.
You have 5 animals?
Yeah.
That's good. Well done. I can barely handle my one very diva dog, but he's great. Zach.
I live with my parents, to be fair. So.
Oh, you live with your parents. Okay, good. No, yeah. I was like, you are a college kid with 5 animals. I was like blown away by that. I was like, I had 5 jobs. I did not have 5 animals. Zach, remind us, who are you when you're not at ALT?
I'm confused mostly, but when I'm not at ALT, I am a journeyman. I've worn a lot of different hats. Currently, I am working at a dog boarding and daycare facility, which prior to that, I was teaching college. So, yeah, I'm just kind of wherever I'm needed and wherever I find where I'm not picky.
You're like, and you're a connoisseur of games, board games.
Yes, it is a growing, expensive habit, but I love it. And anytime I can work it into a conversation or con any of the cast I'm working with into a game night, I'm definitely going to try.
Nice. Ooh, I think that'd be awesome. A clap. Too bad you couldn't play the game on the set, like at the table. Like
strike.
Jenny comes in with little appetizers for everyone. It's looking great. Speaking of, Kissy says, wow. And then she says, hi, guys. Kissy, I was hoping you would be a part of our broadcast today, but at least you're watching and commenting, which we love. Also, thank you, Hugh. He says, Bentley is a star. That's my dog. I appreciate it, Hugh. He's very mad that he was not in CLYBOURNE Park, which I think y'all could have had a dog in CLYBOURNE Park. There could have been a moment, either it would have been a cute little puppy for Russ and Bev at Act 1, and then a stray in Act 2, dirtied him up a little bit. It would have been great. Bentley would have been perfect. Anyway, we'll see what we can do. And then Lily, you have a fan watching. Our own Ellie Peters says, I can't wait to see the show on Saturday. I heart Lily Green.
I heart Ellie Peters.
It's not like I was your teacher, Ellie, that you can't heart me too, but it's fine. It's fine, Ellie Peters. Ellie Peters, who randomly one year in senior company made every student and teacher in senior company their own gingerbread man that looked like us.
Oh.
Yeah. It was
okay.
fantastic.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Mine had a goatee. That's the only reason I knew it was mine. Yeah. It was a good time. Good time. Brandon, remind us who you are when you are not the king of the adventure space, as I like to call you.
When I'm not at the adventure space, I'm working from home for AIG at the time being, and just watching anime or playing video games. That's pretty much it. Or watching the Warriors lose when they're not, playing at work or chasing her now. But yeah, let's not talk about that. Let's not.
No. Better things, good things, positive things. Positive things like Ellie Peters sucking up to me now going, I love Jason. But look at that. A very smart Ethan says, it's okay, Jason. I love you. Thanks, Ethan. I appreciate it. And then Kissy says, just finished a massive Thanksgiving luncheon. Kissy, where was that? I would have loved it because I'm eating my very late lunch. P.S. Shout out to United for making adult Lunchables. That's what I call these. They're my adult Lunchable. They're fantastic. They save me every time. We love you too, Kissy. We love you too. So Brandon, like I've said, you are now the king of the adventure space. You've done shows. You're our veteran. Lily and Zach, brand new to ALT. I want to learn more, Lily and Zach, why did you audition for Clybourne Park? Lily, you kind of have a little bit of at least a connection to ALT before this with a family member. But what made you think I want to audition for this show and be a part of Clybourne Park? Lily, we'll start with you.
Well, before I found out about Clybourne Park, I absolutely wanted to do an ALT show, but I got so busy with school, and then COVID got in the way.
Yeah. Because you did shows in high school, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah.
And,
what were your shows in high school again? Remind me.
I did Beauty and the Beast freshman year. I was a plate. I'd like to mention that. I was just playing Beauty and the Beast.
Yeah.
And then we did Once Upon a Mattress in my sophomore year.
I saw that.
Yeah. Mary Poppins junior year. That was 2018. And then my senior musical was Seussical the Musical.
Right.
It was so much fun.
Yeah, so good. It was so good. I think every other year. I don't know why I saw every other year, but apparently you did. Yeah. Yeah,
and then I did junior varsity went out to my junior year. We did Anatomy of Grey. I was the lead in that, and then I got to join one out senior year. We only got to do 1 week of competitions, and then COVID shut it down. We did the play called Picnic, and it was fantastic. So yeah, the reason why I wanted to audition for Clybourne Park, Stephen emailed me saying, "Hey, I don't know your history of being deaf and everything. I don't want to offend you or anything, but I found there's a deaf character in this play that I think you would be fantastic for it." And I was unsure about it at first because I'm so busy. I got done with working at Texas all summer. It was a lot, and so I thought about it. And my sister was like, "ALT is so much fun. I think you would enjoy it." So I decided to, and I'm so glad I decided to.
Heck yeah, we're excited you did too. Holla. I love that. And then Zach, you found out about it from your girlfriend, your partner, and they said, "Hey, there's this audition." Is that correct?
Yeah. So we got gifted. Her mom is very much in support of art, all of it, music, symphony, opera, theater. She loves to support the art in whatever community she's in, and knows that her daughter has taken up that trade as well, which I have no qualms about whatsoever. I just know that I'll go for a symphony and a theater show more often than an opera. So we have our preferences, but she gifted us a membership to ATL. So we need to
ALT.
ATL. Why don't you? Oh, I keep thinking Atlanta. Oh my goodness. Hey, A-Town down.
We don't know what happened to Zach, sadly. He's a part of the ATL version of free right now. We love you.
I will get that right by the last show.
Please do.
The ALT membership we were gifted comes with updates, and that's the email that Kelsey had received. She forwarded along just because she loves to throw those things at me, because I have a background, long time in theater, from middle school performance, even elementary school performance, high school, college, an undergrad and a master's degree in theater. So, I mean, I've had a long time, but I've taken many years away from it to teach and have a big kid job, to work off of student debt, but kind of got here and finally had a job and not much else quite yet. So it seemed like an opportunity to meet more people, an opportunity to meet people who share some same interests and passions, whether that's front of stage or back of stage. I had zero context for what this play was about at all. I just showed up, and the rest, as they say, is history.
I love it. That's fantastic.
Shout out, Kelsey.
Right. Yes. Amen. Good job, Kelsey. Brandon, of course, you have been a part of several shows, including one earlier this season with Significant Other. Finished up Art in the spring. What made you think, "Oh, I want to do another show. I want to audition for Clybourne Park"?
Love theater. Love acting. Love what I do. Gotta keep the skills sharp. Gotta keep it going. So whenever maybe I'm like, hey, I want to maybe go to the big leagues. I want to try to be a professional or whatever. I'm not gonna maybe be starting from square one and being like, dude, what's my process? What's my prep? How am I getting into the character? Like having to start all over for that. Like I did that once, and it was like not cool. Not cool. It was bad. It was bad. Forgot my entire process and I had to kind of start over from scratch. So I do that with you guys, so I don't have to ever do that again. And because I love you and theater. No?
We love Brandon as well. Holla, we love that. Okay, so we've had some viewers who, of course, seen the show. If you've seen CLYBOURNE Park, let us know. Type in the comments, or if you're coming this weekend, let us know. With the first weekend of audiences, people are raving about this show. We posted a photo, but first I want to show a photo because the show is unique because Act 1 is set in 1959. CLYBOURNE Park, of course, is a fictional neighborhood, if you will, of Chicago. And Zach, tell us a little bit about, in your eyes, what Act 1 kind of is about.
Act 1, in the kind of the literal sense, is an intentional sort of continuation of A Raisin in the Sun, or at least some of the commentary, discussions, and ideas of Raisin in the Sun, but centered a little bit more on what those conversations on the other side of the park, if you will, are being had. And it is set in a fairly typical family home that we would perceive in the 50s. Some of your classic setup, chairs and radios, and you have a family who is looking to sell, and it's the other half of that play, that kind of sister play, that spiritual successor that the playwright Bruce Norris kind of goes into exploring. Okay, well, we've seen this incredible work from this incredible writer about this really difficult moment. Not a lot has changed in the time since then regarding like housing and whatnot, but we just don't talk about it. And I suppose it feels a little more distant to us as a viewer because it was back then. It's not now. Yeah. It's like watching Back to the Future. You can laugh about these silly things because I watch it every year, but there are some things that still persist and carry through, and maybe that's kind of the idea you're seeing presented in front of you.
I love this photo. One, because it has all of y'all, and yes. Two, it just is. It's so. You all look like. This photo. If we did a vintage, filter on it or black and white, it would look like just this photo from the time period. I think. Yeah. Lily, your character in Act 1 there is how many months pregnant?
8 months pregnant.
8 months pregnant. Woo! Fun times. I felt bad the other day. Lily was walking the magic circle, and I had yet to even say hi to her, anything. And as she was walking by me, I just said, "Push." And then later on, I was like, "I hope she knows that I love her," and I just am like messing around. But yeah, I just was like, "Push." It just made me laugh so hard. But of course, yes. So the house right now in Act 1, Russ and Bev there, Jenny and Shad are portraying those characters. Zach and Lily, you are married neighbors that come kind of, unbeknownst to Lily, Zach, your character comes in to kind of change the minds of what's going to happen with the selling of the house. Brooks Boyette, of course, was a part of our Thursdays at 3 last week, who's the minister and kind of comes in for his own reasons to help the family out. Brandon, remind us who you are in Act 1.
I play Albert, and I got to be the husband to Francine, Jay's character there. And I'm just a happy-go-lucky guy who's coming over. Yeah. Help my lady, but help her boss too if I can. With, Trump.
Now we fast forward 50 years next to Brandon. Kind of tell us about Act 2.
So Act 2 is 50 years later, as we probably already kind of discussed, 2009, and so things have changed a little. So kind of what something that Zach's character alludes to in Act One. When this family moves in, other families of color move in too. But then the families are where the white families are where they moved out somewhere else, and so they've made this neighborhood their own over time. And then you've got this white couple, Zach and Lily's characters in Act Two, who come in and they want to basically take this house that has significance to my wife and tear it down and basically make it their own house and not really acknowledge the history, the lives that had been there previously. And so there's this debate. I want to say not really a debate, disagreement. There we go. There's a disagreement where we are basically saying, hey, this is not cool what you're doing. Maybe stop and think about it. Like, can we kind of talk about it and maybe not have you do this crazy thing you're going to do, and just realize what it is you're doing to this community, to the people that live here now, and what's going on right now versus what's going on in your crazy head. You know?
And I love not only, you know, we see the set change, but I love how it's so weird in a way when I saw the show finally with costumes and stuff like that, to go from one set of look and costumes and feeling just appearance wise to modern. Like I kept thinking, like, aren't they gonna get in costume? Like, what are they doing? Oh yeah, this is their costume. Like as you guys were getting ready for Act 2, which I thought Act 2 is so hard. It's so hard. I mean, the whole show is hard. Yeah. But the way the show is written, Lily, can it tell us it's not the traditional, you know, this person has the line and then this person has the line, and like, can you talk to us about that challenging aspect of this script?
So this script definitely, it was a little bit harder because it's more fast paced, and in this one we have more overlapping. Like everybody talks at the same time, and then it's continuous. Like it says in the script, he says multiple times, like continuous, overlapping, all that stuff, and it's so hard to like know like what when everybody is saying their part, and then it's like your cue, and it's like it's one of our biggest challenges, but we've gotten it down so far, and thankfully we're getting it.
Oh no, you guys are, and I mean it is so conversational, and for the audience, we have no clue if something gets jumbled or whatever. You guys have to, you know, hear for those cue lines and might jump ahead and then have to go back and tell this part of the thing and then go back. But you guys are such a tight ensemble that I really feel like anything that gets thrown at you guys, you're like, okay, we got this. I'll take this part. You got that part. Great. I also feel all of you would be really good pickleball partners for each other, because you guys just like definitely like have each other's like intuition of who, what, where, when. I was gonna say we have a comment. One Ethan that says coming for a second time on Sunday. Good job, Ethan. And then Jacob Miller, one of our amazing ALT volunteers, says CLYBOURNE Park was so amazing. Loved it so much. Everybody was so very talented. One of the other reviews that we got this past week, there it is, from Nicole, said, I loved it. It was one of my favorite things I have seen at ALT. The acting was so wonderful, and the script was so fast-paced that the time just flew by. The set and lighting were great as well. Well done. We love hearing that. With the show, with the different dynamics, I mean, we kind of talked about this. We had a great talk back on Sunday after the matinee for our talk back series. But it really kind of is two different plays in some capacities, but there's so much that's connected. I love how you guys have lines that are similar and blocking that is similar and references that are similar in each act. How important was that for you guys to get that right, to make sure that, you know, these overlaps in these sections, you know, that the audience would really pick up on that? Again, I saw the show, it was the third time I saw it, and that night that I saw it, I picked up on another thing that I had not picked up the other two times I had seen it with a character name. But how, like, I mean, there's so many of those. I mean, gosh, in the talkback, was it Brandon when somebody said the ding dong line and you're like, wait, what?
Yeah.
There's so many moments where you're like, I didn't even realize that those are, I mean, how important were those moments for you guys in the show?
I mean, it varies in, there are things that we know Stephen has communicated as highly important.
Yeah.
These lines, these words, these movements, these moments, these need to be crystallized because we need them to happen on both ends to kind of essentially give that Easter egg reward to the audience. It's very rare that you get this sort of Easter egg vibe from a theater show. Like,
it's such a
you can
great way
go
of
and
putting it.
see, yeah,
An Easter egg is a perfect way of describing it. Yes.
yeah. It, like the way we see the monolith of Marvel or Star Wars at the moment, like as a continued fan, as a consistent fan, you get these rewards in these later productions. And here in this play, you kind of get the same thing if you're sharp enough. That difficulty that Lily was talking about, that Brandon and I know full well about, of the layering of the language, can make it really tough to catch some of those Easter eggs. And so having that opportunity to see it twice, see it a third time, you really do unpack more of those layers and kind of go, oh, wow, there's a lot here. So full credit to Bruce North writing a pretty other little thing you got going on here.
Well, and there's a reason why it won the Pulitzer Prize for Best Drama.
Yeah.
It won the Tony Award for Best Play, won the Olivier Award for Best Play in the West End. It's a very well written piece. But I will say, without a strong director, production team, and actors, those moments could easily be lost, or you guys could all really be playing caricatures of the time period, and it wouldn't work. You know what I mean? It just wouldn't be real. I think the best thing about the show is that really you really feel for these characters. I mean, in Brandon, there's a great moment where Jay gets mad at you in Act 1 and then gets mad at you in Act 2, and I'm like, poor Brandon. Like, he's just trying to help. He's just trying to do the good thing, and even then he gets yelled at, and I'm like, man, poor Brandon.
Story of my life, Jason. Story of my life.
It cracks me up. Lily, let's talk about your character in Act 1 and Act 2, because they're different in the capacity of one, you kind of don't know what's going on in Act 1 because, you know, of the barrier of not everyone's, you know, signing for you in that scene, and you know, Zach, your character Zach is trying to keep little moments hidden from you when he talks about how he doesn't like certain desserts and things like that. And I love those moments. And then Act 1 or Act 2, you're like, no, I'm helping run this, and I want to know everything. Yes. So talk about that kind of difference of Act 1 and Act 2 for your characters.
So Act 1, it's set in 1950, and so you don't really have those the technology that deaf people have now, or what they did in like the beginning of modern times. And so she really relied on Carl. And so she really relied on him. Like, we do this. So she like relies on him to kind of communicate what's going on. And then when he's like talking to everyone else, he's like spectating and trying to see if she can read anybody's lips to see what's going on. And then my network might be bad. But she just like, she's asking him what's going on, and he's just like, it's not important. Don't worry about it. He's just like, calm down, not important. So, and then in Act 2, Lindsay is more stubborn, straightforward, and he hates it when Steve, you know, kind of says the wrong things, and then she says the wrong things and doesn't realize it. So she's just like, I'm just gonna do this my own way. I don't care what happens.
Yeah, completely agree. And talk real quick. You talked about this at the talkback, which I thought was so interesting. The blocking and you had to make sure like actors were on a certain side of you so you could hear your cue line or different things like that. Can you talk a little bit more about that? Because I hadn't even thought about that until you guys talked about that in the talkback, and I was like, wow, like not only are there the line overload and the line overlap, but Lily has to make sure she hears on the right side, because if it's lost, that's so much more challenging. Oh my gosh.
Yes. So I have a cochlear implant on the left side or right side. Wow. Right side. And so on the left side, I can't hear anything. So whenever Zach is sitting on the left side of me in Act 2, I had to look at him to make sure
Yeah.
he said what he said before I say something. And so sometimes I can hear it because thankfully they were able to make the sound of the mics go up. So I can hear everybody. And it's not that much of a challenge anymore, but it was at first when we were doing it without mics. And so thankfully mics are a thing. So I'm grateful that I was able to overcome that challenge. So
Yeah, no, agreed, 100%. I mean, you guys are doing so well. Talking about the show and of course getting right into it. We knew the script was challenging. Were there any other aspects of the show that were a surprise challenge for you with this show? Was there during the rehearsal process where you're like, this is going to not be a big thing, and then it ended up being like, oh, this is a whole lot bigger than I thought it would be?
trying to walk pregnant.
Yeah. Yeah, I had a tough time with that too.
Well, and I'm sure too, I mean, sitting and feeling, I mean, there's pressure on bladders now, and there's different things where you're like, oh, this is awkward. Like I would think being pregnant in the show like that would be completely a different challenge and a bigger challenge than maybe just saying, oh, your character's pregnant. Okay, moving on. It's like, oh, no. I gotta walk a certain way. I gotta feel more comfortable. I bet that was a big challenge.
Yes.
Yeah.
Because like you said, 8 months right there.
Yeah. I mean, I think the thing that I kind of wasn't sure about, but definitely was more of a challenge for me, I think the second act character is harder for me. I think it was easier to have a character that was a little more distant in the 1950s sort of character. I can pull on some aesthetics, I can pull on some vernacular, but to just play someone in the modern era with not a very clear sort of signal or set of traits, that the more modern character I felt a little bit harder to craft and create than maybe the first one. So I know for me that was more of the challenge going in, was making sure I'm making two people, but also making them distinct. I didn't want them to look or sound too similar because they're really not the same people at all.
Well, and we talked about in at the talkback and have talked about throughout, your characters are hard because they're not necessarily the most positive people in Act 1 and Act 2. You bring the challenge and kind of the conflict in at least one aspect of a conflict in Act 1, especially. I feel like everyone kind of shares conflict in Act 2, but it's hard because you do have to bring that kind of into the space and make it different in each character, and then also let it go. Somebody asked that question, how do you guys let this show go after you're done? And I think you guys talked about just how close you are and how strong of an ensemble you are, that you guys can rely on each other on stage to catch if any of you fall, but also just to also know that this is just acting and these are just words that somebody has said and we're all just playing characters, and you can kind of just leave it be on the stage. That I think that's so important, because it's hard sometimes playing, the villain, or it's hard sometimes, portraying a piece that's so difficult. I remember, people in cabaret after the show was done, they had to take moments where they could just process what they just did, or it can be definitely challenging. But gosh, the life of an actor and an actress, am I right? P.S. Also, Lily Simmons, really proud of you. Ethan says Lily is so good. I'm so proud of all of her work and everything she has overcome with this show. Oh, I love that.
Wait a minute. Hold up. Time out. Ethan, listen. I don't know what's gone on behind the scenes. You do not need to be lovey-dovey. Okay, if you are in trouble or in danger, give us some kind of emoji. I know she was typecast. Something, and we will come rescue you, my guy. Okay, we'll come rescue you.
Ethan's actually in that closet behind her, tied up, just typing.
Hold on.
I'm impressed. He's been really quiet. If that's the case.
I got you, Ethan.
Well done.
Yes. I love it. Brandon, talk to me real quick about you talked a little bit about this in the talkback. For you, letting the show go as well, and taking some space. You might go play a video game or something, or just talk about that process for you. And I mean, think about like even with art, you guys never left the stage. It was huge line load, you know. Then going to Significant Other, which was a very important show for our theater to tell that story, and Brandon's a part of our play selection committee, and really, you know, is great about trying to bring stories that are important to our community. So with Clybourne Park, I mean, it's a challenging show. You leave feeling so many emotions. You know, I think audiences are reflecting on themselves. I think they're reflecting on the community. They're reflecting on the 1950s, and some stuff has changed, some has not. For you as an actor, how do you feel about when you leave the theater and kind of get that time to get back to Brandon?
So with art, just to talk about that briefly, that sort of kind of was immediate. Like as soon as the show was over and we would like go, you know, get out of costume, me, Omar, and Harrison, we just kind of started cutting up. We might kind of start reflecting on, hey, you missed that line right there, and we had to cover for you. Or we were like, what happened here? Whoa! But we would laugh, we would joke, you know, and just, you know, kind of just be dudes, I guess. I feel like that's a horrible be dudes, but you know, we were three dudes. We gave each other crap. For this, honestly, it's kind of what I said in the talk back. Like I come home and I'm like, all right, I'm gonna turn on the game, or I might watch, you know, this anime I'm looking at. Let my brain turn off from that for a second. Or just because, you know, I might be a little of a lazy procrastinator kind of guy. I'm like, you know what? I just don't want to do it right now. So I'm gonna do this instead. I'll get there. I'll get to it. You know. But some of it, sometimes it's just that, or finding a friend to talk to, and just say, hey, I've got this I'm thinking about right now. I just need to talk to you. Throw some stuff on you. Just, you know, soundboard. You know, just to get it off my chest. But really, it's just don't think about it for a little bit. It's like writing. You know, you get writer's block, and sometimes they say just put it down, walk away from it for a little bit. You know, maybe a day, 2 days, or a week, or however long, or an hour. But just walk away for a little bit, stop thinking about it, and then you come back at it. And you might have these fresh eyes to continue writing, or for what we do. Maybe while I'm randomly playing my game or watching TV, I'm like, wait a minute, this. Maybe I could use it for the character, or what if they're thinking like this, or what if, you know, and sometimes it jolts something. So you're like, okay, I can maybe go at this with some fresh eyes. But I do think if I was a method actor, I don't know what I would do with myself. Where I lived it. But it's, you just give yourself some time to get away from it, because you know who you are. You know that this character is not you. Arguably in another dimension or reality, maybe that could be you, you know. But at the end of the day, that's not who you are, and so you got to do these other things because you're more than this character, but also ultimately you're more than an actor. There's more to you than that.
Yeah.
So
for sure.
those things.
Yeah.
Well, and I think you guys all you guys just have such a strong ensemble. I mean, Lily, Zach, Jenny, of course, are the new kind of members of our family now, which is fantastic. And just sitting in on a couple of your rehearsals, you guys were already cutting up and giving Jenny a hard time about how she was walking, or this or that, or, you know, Brooks was doing a very weird Cockney accent during his mic check that I was laughing about, or, you know, just all these little elements that I was like, man, you guys can just tell you guys are a close-knit cast, which is needed for this type of show. Of course, Stephen Crandall directed the show. Shout out to him and Crystal Burns, assistant director, Kissy Cummings, of course, our production assistant. All have done a phenomenal job, I think, helping make that environment, that positive environment, and feel like you all could bring something to the table and really work at what you wanted to work at with these characters. I'll ask, what are you, I guess, hoping that audiences are taking away from this show? I think it's so interesting that our dramaturg, Michael Hoy, for this show wrote a piece that we've included in the program about reminding us that, you know, yes, this is a show. Yes, 50 years ago, certain things happened. Yes, it's a fictional town called CLYBOURNE Park, but there's still some issues in Amarillo. There's still some things that are very apparent in Amarillo, Texas, of all places as well, that we need to be thinking about and that we need to be aware of. So for you as actors, you know, what are you hoping audiences take away when they leave the little adventure space, you know?
I think my hope, at least, because I did appreciate so much of what Michael did as someone who moved to this place 18 months ago. There's a lot I don't know about Amarillo. And so that was incredibly insightful on some of the context today, some of the context from yesterday, and how all of that flows together. So I appreciate that greatly, just for me as somebody new to the area. But I hope it, at the very least, would spark one of two things. One is curiosity. I want folks to be prompted to look more into this, to look more into the area and how these themes and the area relate. Because I think at the talk back, there was that, that great response from one of our community members about these discussions happening at the city council level here, and not a great resolution from those just yet, but that the fight will still go on. And I hope that folks engage more with that discussion, engage more with that change, because there's a lot that I know I still have to learn just in this area.
Sure.
So I hope that it sparks curiosity.
Also, you moved here 18 months ago?
Yes.
It took 18 months for you to audition for a show at ALT?
Well, so at least for the first few months,
I'm sorry, we lost Zach for a second time during our Thursdays at 3. Man, it's just so sad. Yes, there you go.
The first few months, I didn't know anything about the town, but I did come and see shows first before.
Okay,
so I was a
you were a
supporter.
patron. So there you
Yes.
go. Okay,
I saw Brandon in art, and I loved it, and I know where the painting is too.
True. We got to get you that painting, Brandon. We'll get you that painting. I love it. I think Brandon is frozen, which I love that he's frozen with that photo. That's the best frozen photo. In fact, I'm screenshotting this right now because I never want to lose that picture of Brandon. I love that photo right there.
For every future cast photo, that's the photo.
That's gonna be now. Headshot.
Yeah, that's the headshot. Yeah.
He'll join back in shortly. I love that. Lily, what about for you? What are you hoping audiences take away from this show?
Definitely more recognition about the deaf community, definitely from Act 1. I'm a very big advocate of that, and also how big of a deal racism is and how to recognize the situation. Definitely.
Yeah. And Lily, I don't want to presume anything, but sometimes with certain aspects, you're not in a wheelchair, you don't have an arm in a cast, you don't have a walking stick, you don't have something that people can immediately see, knowing that, you know what I mean, that you might have a difficult time with something or whatever, and so I'm sure that's been difficult. And so agreed, I'm so proud that you're a part of the show and can be a voice for us for that. Yeah.
Thank you.
Brandon, we took a screenshot of your freeze. Just know, I now know what my Christmas card's going to be. It's just Merry Christmas.
That's good.
From Brandon Graves, because he's awesome.
That's good.
Yeah. It was the best screen freeze ever. In fact, Alyssa Guerin says best freeze ever. Perfection.
You're welcome. You're welcome, guys.
Brandon, perfect timing though, coming back in. What are you hoping audiences take away after they see these y'all's phenomenal performances and this fantastic show?
So without rehashing too much of the talk back, my thing just to keep it, and that is, I just want people to have a conversation, but more than anything, just ask, what can I do, and with what little I have, what little impact I have on the world. We're not famous, we're not all wealthy billionaires or whatever, but just me as a Amarillo, I'm a person living in Amarillo, but I would say just as a human being, a citizen of the United States, citizen of the world. What can I do to address these disparities, these problems? How can I call out? Let's say call out. You hear that kind of with everything that's gone on. I don't want to say call out, but just if I can just do something, not big, but just something little. Maybe it is call out of someone who's being a bigot or someone who's mistreating someone because they don't look like they do, talk like they do, call it out. Or just you see someone who looks like me, doesn't look like me, or you know they have a different life experience, just talk to them, get to know them, and learn who they are as a person. Because we're more than just me being a black guy, Zach being a white guy, Lou being a white woman, you being a Mexican man. We're more than that. There's these amazing wells of light and darkness and so many nuances and quirks. Just get to know the other person. Don't just go off of what you see on TV, what you hear, what you read. Just talk to people. And if we could really meld together instead of just looking at our differences, what do we like? Zach is into some anime. He's into board games. Maybe I could learn what his favorite board game is, see if we have some similar board games. Lily loves cats, apparently. Maybe I could find out if we like the same kind of cats and, start from there. And Jason, obviously you like the adult Lunchables. You need to help your boy out with that. But also, there's something I could find that you are great at. You're an amazing, wonderful soul.
People may find out that I'm gay, but yet I love Jesus and I go to church as well. That might be a topic in Amarillo currently that people might not make. They may be making assumptions about. So people just need to find out more about people. That's very true. Very true.
Yeah.
I love it.
I love you, Jason.
We love you guys. And that's what's the best thing about ALT, really. We have people from all walks of life coming together to doing something positive for our community. And you guys are storytellers. We're all storytellers telling stories, and that's our job. And so that's what I absolutely love about the Little Theater is that we all get to just, everyone from students to doctors to lawyers to parents to moms to kids to everyone from under the sun gets to come under one roof and we just do a show. Brandon's been phenomenal. He's been, of course, an actor on our stage, but then will run crew for us and be, working lights or sound for Rock of Ages and giving me the best hugs every night before he left the theater every night. Things like that where I love it, where we can all come together and support each other and just tell these stories. And we're hopeful we'll be able to tell many more different stories in the future. And that's what's great about the adventure space as well. We can tell stories like this that are more intimate and more challenging and have a little bit more of a rated R rating or whatnot, and then do another type of show on the main stage like Elf that's just fun and entertaining and can help uplift the season, if you will. So I'm so glad you guys are part of ALT. So glad you guys. Thank you for donating time to be a part of our Thursdays at 3 today as well. I know we ask a lot of you guys when we're like, can you do this? Can you do that? So we appreciate you guys being a part of this as well. You know what? One thing I did forget to mention at the start of today's show, and I would be so mad at myself if I forgot. Those of us who were a part of it last year know Panhandle Gives. If you've not heard, Panhandle Gives, it starts on Monday the 21st. It runs through the 29th. This kind of goes hand in hand with Tuesday Giving. But if you can, go to the Panhandle Gives.org. That's the website there. Just click on participating organizations, search for the Amarillo Little Theater, and give us a donation if you can. Again, November 21st to the 29th. The best thing about this is, everyone, if you give $5, it gets amplified. So whatever you give, they have a crazy math rhetoric kind of thing that they put it all through. And whatever amount we get in gets amplified at the end of it. So if we raise, let's say we raise $28. Hopefully we will raise more than $28, but that might turn into $37 because it gets amplified or whatever. Right now we're of course working on trying to tear down the Federated Club building. It's costing us money each month. We need to get that torn down and do an asbestos abatement so that way we can then start the new plans. We already have plans kind of in the works for another type of theater that we need, and we need it bad. So yeah, it's exciting. The future of ALT is super exciting, but we need to take this big step to get there. So if you get a chance, Panhandle Gives, November 21st to the 29th. Give us a call at ALT if you have questions about it, 806-355-9444. 9991. Easily we can help you out, or check out, of course, our website. But before that, you guys, if you have not gotten your tickets for CLYBOURNE Park, we want to remind you shows are this Thursday, that's today, at 7:30, Friday and Saturday, 8 o'clock, and Sunday at 2:30. 4 more chances, only 4 more chances to see this absolutely fantastic show. You guys are brilliant in this show. Those of you who are like, I might be able to go, I'm not sure, just come on by the ALT Adventure Space box office. Reminder, this is at the Adventure Space, not the main stage. Yeah. I need to get, this is an old picture, or not an old picture, an old rendering, if you will, of the Adventure Space before the mural. So
that mural looks so good.
Isn't it awesome? We got the
It looks really good.
And it's just part one of our mural. We have a couple other sections that we'll be working on soon. When it warms up. But we're very excited about that. So again, guys, if you don't have your tickets to CLYBOURNE Park, I don't know what you're waiting for. See these phenomenal performances, see this amazing story, see what our amazing local talent is doing on our stage. We're all about supporting local things in Amarillo, so support the local arts for sure. Lily, Zach, Brandon, thank you guys so much for being a part of Thursdays at 3 today. Break a leg your final weekend. I will see you all weekend. I will feed you on Sunday when we take down the set and all those good things. It'll be good times. Yes, exactly. Good times. And those of us who of course are watching, we will not have it Thursdays at 3 next week because it's my one day off, and I'm very excited to be eating Thanksgiving dinner with my family. Very excited. And so hopefully though you all will tune in the following week when we'll talk a little bit more about good old Elf the musical coming around the corner. It's gonna be great. Yeah. Lissa, real quick, I'm gonna ask. Hold on. Lissa. Yeah, she's busy. She's working away. At one point, Lissa said she's gonna start answering the phone. Lissa, what's your favorite color? Eddie, what's your favorite color? Oh wait, Lissa, this just in. Live reporter, Lissa. Will you be answering the phone? Lissa, what's your favorite color in the upcoming month for Elf the Musical?
Public.
Okay, so Lissa, during public reservations, if you call the box office and you get Lissa on the phone, she will answer the phone.
What's your favorite color?
Boom, you heard it here. Live reporting. This just in, special report. Starting Monday, Double Theater, reserve those tickets. I love it so much. For a split second, Zach, I thought you also froze. I was very excited to also get another screenshot maybe of that. It was brilliant. Again, wait. I'm gonna see if I can get that up. If I can get it up in time. Oh, I think I can.
Froze for a second. Oh. Yeah, there you go.
But then the blinking of the eyes kind of gives it away. Yeah. Oh, you guys are.
I'll work on it.
And again, if you missed out on it, there it is. That's exactly where Brandon is. I have uploaded it quickly. Look at that face right there. It's a smile.
I was because I thought, so before I realized it was my internet that cut out, I thought it was Zach's internet that had cut out. So I was like, and then it was like, oh, wait, no, that's my internet. Dang it, because it went Lily, Zach, and Jason. I was like, wait, and I looked down, I'm like,
I love it.
We love live.
Hugh says we'll be going a second time. Love this show. It's so great, y'all. That's when it's good.
Thank you.
People want to come back to see it a second time. That's when it's good. No, it's good. Well, Lily, Zach, Brandon, I'll let you guys go so you can get a little bit more rest before tonight's 7:30 performance. Again, come see CLYBOURNE Park, y'all. It's a fantastic show. Support ALT with this show, with Panhandle Gives, with helping us out with Work Call Saturday, giving us some branches from your old Christmas trees, all the good things. Whatever you can do to help us out, we will surely appreciate it. And you guys, we'll see y'all soon. Thank you all very much. Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.